Hello, everyone. My name is Jerry Miskell, and I'm a member of the viola section with the Akron Symphony Orchestra. I am also the orchestra's personnel manager, but that's not my full-time job. I am the music department chair at the University of Mount Union, where I teach viola, musicianship, American music, music technology, and the music of Gustav Mahler. But today, we're going to talk about Aaron Copland and his variations on a shaker melody. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with the piece and then take a look at some things about the piece that maybe you didn't know before. So to do that, I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint. And we see Aaron Copland hard at work, maybe writing the very piece that we're talking about. I don't know. So the Variations on a Shaker Melody is the very first piece I ever played by Aaron Copland. That was way back in 1974, when for the first time I played with the All North Jersey Junior High School Orchestra. And it was a particular honor for me because I was not old enough to be in junior high. I was a year too young, but they allowed me to audition anyway, and I got into the section. 3 chairs from the back, but I got in. So I was pretty pleased about that. And this was the first time that I played in a really big orchestra with the best players around in New Jersey of my age. And New Jersey has always been known for its very strong music programs in their high schools. Many high schools have full symphony orchestras, or at least they did when I was going to school there. And I instantly fell in love with Copland's music. And it was this piece that started that journey, getting to know his music. Now, you may be asking yourself about the title, what is a shaker tune? What does that mean? Well, the Shakers were a religious sect that got its start in America. So it's a true American religion. The full name is the United Society of Believers in Christ's Second Appearing. That's a mouthful. They were called by people from outside of the sect Shakers because their religious services were very raucous and everyone participated in the singing, shouting, clapping, stomping, dancing. And in fact, it was expected. In the back of the room, there would be a window where one of the elders would look on. And if someone wasn't participating with enough energy, they might be called to the elder's office to find out if there was any issues. So you were always being watched. But for the most part, that wasn't an issue. The participants would often get so excited and overwhelmed in their religious fervor that they would actually start shaking. And that is where the nickname, the Shakers, came from. And it is how they are best known. There are not many Shakers left today, and the few that survive act as living historians at Shaker communities that have been preserved. The Shakers were very simple people. They believed in simplicity and practicality above all else. And they didn't like anything garish or overly ornate or anything that would bring attention to yourself. But they were very ingenious. For instance, every building had a pegboard that was hung all around every room. You notice the upside down chairs in the picture are hanging on a pegboard. That way, you could pick up a lot of the furniture and it gave you more room to clean the floor. We all know how difficult it can be to sweep under a kitchen table trying to move the chairs out of the way. Well, this was their brilliant solution. Their music was also simple. Voices only. Everyone sang. You could clap, stomp, but there were no instruments allowed during worship, and there was no harmonizing, just the melody sung by everyone. The shaker tune that Copland uses is called "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," or sometimes known as Simple Gifts. And it sounds like this. So Aaron Copland uses this melody in a ballet called Appalachian Spring. And the ballet is about a newlywed couple that have just moved into their brand new country home in the hills of Pennsylvania, and about the simplicity of their life, but also the great joy that they have. The characters are the newlywed couple, the local minister, and his followers. Now, the original ballet was written for a very small ensemble, not a full symphony orchestra. You have to remember that in pits, there often isn't enough room for a full orchestra. But like many other composers, Copland rescored the ballet for a full symphony orchestra and altering some of the parts, leaving some of the parts out, and using it as a concert piece without dancers. So the very opening is simple, but it's more lively than the shaker song that we just heard. In the ballet, the bride does a solo dance. So that's our theme. Sorry. So the first variation, well, what does that mean, variation? Well, some things stay the same and some things change. And those things that can stay the same or change can include the very melody itself. Maybe it's embellished. Maybe it's gone entirely and replaced by a different melody. Maybe the dynamics, the loudness or the softness changes. Maybe the tempo changes. Maybe the instrumentation changes, right? So we hear a melody in the clarinet, maybe the second time around it's played by another instrument. In this first variation, the lively music becomes even livelier still, and it now becomes a dance between the newlywed couple. In the next variation, the groom dances, and it's almost as if he's embracing the land that they have just moved to. And you can hear how that music has a sense of wide open spaces. And that's a signature trait of Aaron Copland's music and why it sounds so American. It reminds us of the vast expanse of the American continent. What you may not have noticed is that the melody was played in 3 different instruments. It was played in the violins, in the trombone, and in the cellos and basses, but they didn't all begin together. And so you get what we call a polyphonic texture, where there are two or more independent melodic lines going on at once. That is certainly different than anything we had heard up to this point. The next variation, we have the groom dancing again, although this time it's a leaping dance and much, much more animated in both the music and in the dancing. In fact, the music, the tempo is double timed. It's twice as fast. Now you might ask, well, why does the groom get to dance twice in a row? In the original ballet, there's music that Copland took out for the concert piece, where the newlywed wife dances. So she dances just as much as he does. But for our third variation, this is once again the groom dancing. Really fast, isn't it? And I don't know if you notice in the strings, they're playing even faster than the brass with these really quick licks. And I've played them before, and they're really hard, very humbling. I remember playing this piece once, and someone had written in the score before I had, in the viola part before I had played it, "I'm still a good person." Apparently, they struggled with that variation. The fourth variation is a big ending, and it's actually not a part of the original ballet. In the original ballet, this section ends quietly. And then, of course, it moves on to more because that's not the end of the ballet. But Copland needed a big ending for this concert piece. So let's take a listen to this last full-throated variation. So that's it. Copland's theme and variations on a shaker tune. It's been my great pleasure to talk to you today. And I know that you're going to get more information from other individuals about this piece. My only regret is that I can't be there to play it for you live. So have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation on Aaron Copland's piece. Bye-bye.